Yeah. What's up? What's up? It's your boy, JFK. We're in the building. We're in the building. Yo. So, shout out to everybody, watching the videos on the Faith Talk. So, just a disclaimer right now. This is our politics vibe right now. For all my peoples, you know what I mean? For all my people on that politics level, JFK live, We had some fun back in the day, you know what I mean? And there's a lot going on, man. It's crazy out here. It's crazy out here. Crazy. And I want to just, say, man, I don't know what's going on out there, but something is in the water. And now America has a choice. America has a choice, man. It's today's Super Tuesday, so a lot of our what you call primary stuff is going on, man. They're picking. Everybody's picking. They're picking primary, candidates right now. Guess what, man? It's about time that we all realize that this is going to matter to us as we live our lives in this country. So guess what, man? If you don't take this seriously, man, you don't understand how this affects you. I personally want to just tell everybody, look, let's calm down on this thing. There's madness in the water right now. There's madness in the water. Hey, oh boy, when I look at it, I say, why are we in this place where we're about to nominate somebody right now? Whew. And I don't understand it. I don't understand what we're doing. We're about to nominate somebody, you know, in Donald Trump, who is going to show us Pepe. Donald Trump is going to show us Pepe. Hey, he's going to show us Pepe. Look, you guys already know where I stand, on Trump and everything. But let me tell you something. It's not a joke. This man is telling us what he will do, and people are still saying it's okay. They will vote for him. Listen, if you are on here, please let me know you are here. Let me know you are here. So this is me just doing a recap of what is at stake in this election, American election. The question everybody has on their mind is, which of these two guys am I going to choose? And what I'll say right off the bat is, we know some of the problems that each of them have. Joe Biden is old. The jokes about Joe Biden's age are really good ones, right? Joe Biden is so old. He was there when Methuselah was also on the earth. Joe Biden is so old that he helped them write the Declaration of Independence. Those are some of the jokes. There's some good jokes about Joe Biden and being old. So there's no doubt about it. Joe Biden is old, right? But the challenge we are having is, what does that say about whether or not he can do the job? Because at the end of the day, that's really the question. You know, can he do the job? Will his age be a problem for him doing the job? And personally, I just feel like you need to look at someone's resume. You need to look at what they've done. The problem I have is, we are in a world where the truth doesn't matter. We're in a world where misinformation and disinformation is the key, is the order of the day. Misinformation is the order of the day. So there's no way for us to even have a conversation if you are having a different understanding of the truth than I am. And that's really disturbing to me. We can't have this conversation. We can't talk. We can't talk right now. We can't talk because you and I are not, well, let me say, some people compared to others, they're not really on the same page when it comes to what exactly are we listening to in terms of news. What are we listening to in terms of news? We are all sitting there, and we are consuming different information. Let me give you an example. So one of the things that people have done when they are being asked the question, okay, who do you support and all that? The thing that one of the things that frustrates me is that we don't have information that we can all point to and say, okay, this is the information, these are the details, then let's go from there. If we did, if we different, completely different conversation. If people are saying there and saying, okay, there are some young people, oh, uh, what do you think Trump has done for you? Say, oh, yo, Trump gave us that stimmy though. Yeah, man, yo, he did give us that check though. That stimmy though, he did that. And I'm like, Biden gave you a stimmy too. Biden gave you two stimmies because when he came in, they have more than one stimulant check. But we don't know that. We don't know that because the disinformation on TikTok is that Trump gave a stimulus check to the people. Did anybody has anybody bothered to even ask, where did the check come from? It was the Democrats. It was the Democrats in Congress that voted for a stimulus package. That's the reality. That's the reality. It was the Democrats that voted for the stimulus package because Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House when Trump was president in the last 2 years. So the stimulus check you got wasn't even from Trump. But like everything else, Trump knows how to put his name on good things so that he can appear to be the giver of the gift. He didn't come up with that check. That was Congress. That was the Democratic Congress that came up with a stimulus package and voted for it. And all he had to do was sign it. But then, in fact, he even told them to wait before they gave out the checks. He said they have to change so that he wants his signature to be on the checks, not the signature of the Secretary of the Treasury that normally goes on these checks. Trump said, "I want my signature on the check," and you fell for it. You fell for it. And I'm holding back not to call people names, not to denigrate people but I just feel like there's so much ignorance that's fueling how people are making decisions. People are they're saying things and doing things. If you watch these videos of Trump supporters online and they ask them some of these questions and you see how stupid they sound, you realize that we're in trouble. We're in big trouble because it doesn't matter what the facts are. It doesn't matter what the truth is. The narrative that is out there, it depends on who you're listening to and what they're saying. So in these elections, you have to ask yourself, you know, what do you think would happen if Trump wins? What kind of country are we going to have? And the nonsense that people are doing where they remember Trump's presidency as this wonderful utopia, it's mind blowing. It's annoying. When Trump was president, he had a trade war with China. He spent his days tweeting and abusing people individually. That we woke up every day and say, who is he abusing today? Who is he insulting today? The world leaders were worried about him 24/7. He wanted to get rid of NATO. He walked away from all kinds of agreements. He walked away from the Iran nuclear deal. And from the moment he walked away, Iran was free to do whatever. Because he walked away from that deal and he had no other thing to replace it. Same thing. He was always talking about removing Obamacare. And this is what I don't get. Why are people falling for the stupidity that comes with this man? Time and time again, Donald Trump is great at promising stuff he has no intention or ability to fulfill. And people keep falling for it. I want to categorize some people that those that fall for it, but there are those that know better, but they have their own other reasons for supporting. I'll not get into that today. But my question is to those who are falling for it. Did he not promise that he would replace Obamacare with a beautiful, bigger, better healthcare? It will be free. It will be wonderful. Everybody's gonna have a better healthcare when he does that stupid hand of life that he does. And you all just sat there and let him lie to you. And then when it was time for him to present an actual health plan that he was going to use to replace Obamacare, nothing. Not even a single piece of paper, not even an outline. And that's what he continues to do. The court cases that we are seeing now, I have people who are telling me, oh, it's unfair how they're going after him. It's like, bro, if you commit 10 crimes and you are prosecuted 10 times for your 10 crimes, it's not unfair. It's just the number of crimes you committed. And the thing about Donald Trump is he was able to commit these crimes and not have anybody go after him. That's the thing about what you're saying now is that when he was president, he was doing so many things that he should have been prosecuted for. But the DOJ has a standing policy not to prosecute a sitting president, not to indict a sitting president. So everybody who was supposed to go after Trump and prosecute him for one time or the other had to hold their arms like this and wait for him to leave office. And some of us were here telling you at the time that they're going to go after him for this when he's done. They must prosecute him for this when he's done. Now he's done, they're persecuting him, and you're listening to him lie to you and make it look like persecution. It is not persecution, never was. It's the fact that he had a backlog of criminal activity that needed to be prosecuted, and they're serving him breakfast. But it's again, our information, atmosphere is just off. It's just off. How can people still be listening and watching Fox News? Please explain to me. A station that just lost a case where they had to pay close to $1 billion because they were live. Do you understand? You are going to get your information from a news station who has been adjudged to be a lying news station to the point where they have to pay almost $1 billion. And then you go and say, that's my station. That's the one I'm going to be getting my information. So right now what we are dealing with is a bunch of people who have to vote in November, who are voting today in the primary, who are doing all that based on ridiculous notions brought about by misinformation. You have to vet your sources of information. If you are building your entire political decision on lies or misinformation, then we are all in trouble. We are all in trouble. The point of this election is so that you can make the right choice for your future. And that's why it's frustrating that the only conversation we are having about Joe Biden is his age. Joe Biden is old, but unemployment is at 3.9. Joe Biden is old, but GDP is up. Joe Biden is old, but gas prices are lower. Joe Biden is old, but we have Chips Act, we have jobs coming in. Joe Biden is old, but manufacturing is coming back to the United States. At what point do you shift your conversation from him being old to what is he achieving? What's the point of saying he's old when he's doing the job? He could be 154 years old. What is the unemployment rate, sir? He could be 90,000 years old. What is the unemployment rate? Is inflation going down? Is it getting better? That's the question. That's the question. So it's annoying and it's frustrating that we're having a different conversation and we are ignoring accomplishments, we are ignoring achievements. So I personally think Joe Biden is old as well. But I'm adding the fact that, well, how is his performance on the economy? How is his performance on the international stage? On those merits and on those bases, Joe Biden is doing okay. He's doing okay. And the unfortunate thing is that you're out there saying Joe Biden is too old, but you want to vote for the guy who has no plans. No plans. They asked Lysol, what are you going to do about inflation? He said, first of all, I want to say to those beautiful people at the diner who love me, I love them too. He has no plan. Today we're not discussing whether or not he's losing his mind. That might be a different conversation. But tell me what is Donald Trump's plan on inflation? You don't know because he's never talked about it. He's never been coherent on that matter. What is Donald Trump's plan on student loans? Nothing. What is Donald Trump's plan on housing? Nothing. You see a pattern. No plans. The only thing you are hearing from him is retribution. Joe Biden is a criminal. All of that stuff. What is his plan? What are his policies? How does he plan to fix anything? Nobody knows. And you're out there telling me that one guy is old. If the old guy is getting results, my guy, That's what we want. Talking to somebody about Nigeria, it's never been a question of whether or not we are voting for old people. You can vote for the oldest person or the youngest person. At the end of the day, the question is, are they delivering? That's it. That's it. That is the relationship we should have with a president or a leader. Are they delivering? And on that front, it's so amazing to me that a lot of people are answering polls and saying Joe Biden is too old. Joe Biden is too old, but you have a job, right? Joe Biden is too old, but the inflation is coming down, the gas prices. You see, the people that used to attack Joe Biden with gas prices, they would go to the gas station and take a video of them with high prices. Now that the prices have come down, they can't do those videos anymore. If you're on here, man, you can just jump in. Let me know you're here. I'm doing this. I'm doing this at a time of the day where, but I don't care, man. I know people will watch it later. So my point is this: we're in an election cycle, and we need to know what the stakes are. We are literally having a decision between democracy and autocracy and authoritarianism. Those are the choices we have. One man sees Vladimir Putin, sees Viktor Orban, sees all these dictators as his mentors. And you want to put him on the presidency again. Why? Why? And I don't understand how people will remember, Donald Trump's tenure as if they were great times. Somehow, I don't know how we do this. Now, Joe Biden is being blamed for inflation and everything that we know they are the fallout of COVID. We know that because every country in the world is dealing with it. So let's start with that. We know that Joe Biden inherited a COVID world, COVID nation, and somehow we don't give him grace that that's not an easy thing to climb out of. Economically, nations are devastated by COVID. We all know this. The inflation that we're dealing with, the supply chain that was disrupted, all of that came out during COVID. Businesses closed down, a lot of things happened, schools, a lot of horrible things happened during COVID. But somehow people are able to blame Biden for the inflation, for the poor economy he inherited, for all that stuff. Now, here's the thing that's even worse. When his policies now begin to move and things begin to get better, people don't turn around and give him credit for digging us out of those things. They just pretend like he didn't do anything. Then they move on to the issue of he's old. What are you talking about? What's the point of it? What would have happened if he was young? The question is, how is he performing as a president? That's it. What's the economy like under him? Those are the relevant questions. Those are relevant questions. And for those questions to be properly answered, you cannot be making up your own answers. You got to look at the same metrics we've always looked at. Don't give a different standard when you're now measuring it with economy. It's so mind numbing to see people say under Donald Trump things were better. And then you ask them, what was the unemployment rate? They don't know. What was the GDP? They don't know. What was the rate of homelessness? They don't know. And they want to talk about Donald Trump up until Corona, right? They don't want to discuss, what happened under COVID. Oh, that was not his fault. Are you mad? Are you dumb, bro? It doesn't have to be his fault that Corona came to the country. But he gets to handle the COVID crisis as president when it comes to his nation. That's the job. Somehow they want to excuse him from everything that happened under COVID and say, oh, no, 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 just talk about the economy before COVID. No, you are responsible to handle it. Even if a tsunami happens in your nation, if something happens, that's why you're the lead. People look to you. You're supposed to figure out solutions with your team. Somehow they found a way to not even talk about, the economy under COVID, under Trump. They compare Biden's economy to Trump economy before COVID. Why? Is COVID not part of his administration time? That's dumb. If he mishandled COVID and he couldn't help us with our economy, he couldn't save lives, that's on him. That is not a reason to put him back into the White House because, COVID wasn't his fault. Handling COVID was his fault. It's not the only president who had to deal with COVID. It's so annoying. This double standard is annoying. Donald Trump was a failure as a president. That's why he lost. That's why he lost. And we kept telling you at the time, oh, you're looking at his rallies and seeing people showing up at his rallies, but you're not paying attention to everybody who is angry at the house. Oh, Joe Biden was in the basement. How could he have won? He didn't need to be anywhere because Donald Trump was doing a good job of convincing people like me that we got to get this moron out. And then we come here and we pretend like COVID didn't happen under Trump. This is so dumb. This is so stupid. So the ability to have two thoughts in our head is continues to be the challenge of this nation. And I worry because, I've always said it's a game of numbers, right? How many of us are able to see things as they are? How many of us are reasonable enough to do the calculation and say, what's the economy like under Biden? Is it going up? Is it on an upward movement? That's the reason why you vote us for an incumbent. If you see the trajectory, if you see the projection, and it looks like, all right, unemployment stable and it's low, GDP, the country is producing great, the dollar is steady. You look at infrastructure, it's going gangbusters on infrastructure. Everybody knows it, and this is how you know that the economy is good under Biden. Trump has tried to take credit for it. Yeah, I'm upset with you people. The ignorance is too much. The ignorance is too much. Trump is trying to take credit for Biden's economy because Biden's economy is looking good. So you want to sit there and pretend that it's not. Even your Lord and Master, Trump, he has noticed. If you go to Fox News, Larry Kudlow, the guy who worked for Trump, he had to say, well, I have to admit, I thought we were going to be in a recession, but it looks like we're doing well. All the guys, all the economists that predicted a recession, that said we're going to crash under Biden, they have all come back to say, oh, actually, we're not. Because they don't have a choice, because data, raw data, makes it impossible for them to lie. And that's why I started by saying information is the issue. If we can all have relatively the same set of facts, then our conversation can at least be based on a common understanding. If we now disagree, even based on those facts, that's legit. But that's not what's happening. You have people blaming Biden for the border. And then when you show them that under Trump, there was an influx of migrants on the border like never before. Trump had more migrants coming in than Obama did. Obama deported more migrants than Trump did because Trump is ineffective and inefficient. He's incompetent. But you're going to skip over that because you don't have that information. So you're going to start, repeating the stupid talking point that Biden is opening the border for immigrants. Are you mad? You crazy? You mental? This is the problem. So until we begin to push, and for those of us who have the right information, we just need to keep pushing it. That's all we can do. Push out the information, push out the data, push out the truth that you have, in the hopes that it will convince enough people to get sense. That's all we have. Because the rest of it is just this disinformation and misinformation. And someone like Trump thrives when the truth is not out. Someone like Trump thrives when there's disinformation. Can you imagine Trump going on TV and taking credit for a veterans bill? And his crowd they clap for anything he does, they clap for everything he says, like zombies, like morons. The bill he was taking credit for was signed by Obama in the previous administration. But you don't know that. And those who do don't care to keep the truth in their minds when they're doing these things. Until they clap for somebody who didn't do anything because he's just taking credit for something someone else did. This is the frustrating thing about Trump's power over people. Like his ability to make you forget common sense. Forget common sense. You forget common sense. Because if you really think about what some of the things he's saying, you will remember that when Trump was president, the only major bill he passed was the tax bill. And that tax cut bill was to make himself and his friends richer than they've ever been. That was what Trump did with the tax bill. But he's going to come on stage and tell you we signed the Veterans Act. That was Obama that signed that, but you don't know that. You don't know that. You have no idea. You have no facts. You have no information. So you clap for that nonsense. That's why you clap for him that he gave you a stimulus check, not thinking to yourself, who had the bill that had the stimulus check in it? Which people drafted the bill that had the stimulus check? Which people voted for the stimulus and passed the stimulus to the House and the Senate so that Trump can just sign and take credit for something he didn't work on? It wasn't his idea. He was just a president and he knew that it would be to his benefit if he gave people money. But you don't know that. You don't know, and I don't know if you would care if you did. But this is the fundamental issue we're having. We're having this conversation between these two guys. One of them has accomplishments that we can actually see, and the other is just filled with boasting. He just boasts. Prideful boaster. That's all he is. And he boasts on things he has not done and cannot do. And he aspires to get the kind of power that the king has. Did you hear him in the last rally? He said he said when the representative for the Taliban spoke to him, that one said, that one called him Your Highness. Bro, do you really believe that the chief or the representative of the Taliban group referred to Donald Trump and said Your Highness? Do you really believe that the Taliban, fundamentalist Muslims who vow to no one but Allah, will now call Donald Trump Your Highness? As their king, as their prophet, as their imam, as what? He will tell this lie at a rally, and people will clap. How dumb have we? How dumb really are we? This is bottom of the barrel stuff. I mean, look, as a Nigerian person, I'll tell you one of the things. I went to Body House. One of the things that you learn in Body House is like, you better be careful when you want to lie. When you want to tell a story and embellish in Body House, you need to be careful. Because Body School, they will cut your lie. Come on, Jare. Body schools, in fact, high school generally, Niger people generally, if you exaggerate, if you tell fabu to Nigerians, the way they will cut your fabu, they will cut your lie. And by the way, fabu is fable, which story. As soon as you start telling a lie, Nigerians will start looking at you. They'll start moving their nose like this. Yes, I've heard. That's that's the only reaction anybody should be having to Donald Trump. The lies are so many. The lies are so many. They recently caught Donald Trump having some mental lapses, calling, instead of referring to Biden, he was saying Obama did this, Obama did that. He called him out. He now did a video saying, what I was doing was referring to Obama, but I knew what I was doing. I really meant Biden, but I'm trying to say that Obama's control. That we know that's a cover up. Your behind is missing some parts in your brain, and you made a mistake, and you were calling Biden Obama. You think Obama is still president. You even think you ran against Obama when you ran against Hillary. We know that. Own it. You're older. Things are happening. Own it. But this man is so committed to lying that he will lie about something that obvious. And it's stupid. I don't know who these people are. Some of them are doing it because if you're at the Trump rally, you got to do the Trump thing. But there's this sense that there has to be. I mean, there was one rally recently where even his followers couldn't follow him on a stupid rant that he was making, and it wasn't making sense. They didn't clap, they didn't laugh. Nobody knew what to do. And for me, let me tell you what my expectation is. The more Trump goes out and he does rallies and he speaks, I'm just trusting that he will reveal himself more and more. He will reveal his damage more and more, and it will become more and more difficult to defend him. We already know Joe Biden's problem. He's old. He walks funny. He falls down the steps. We know. is no longer news. But like I said, the day that his age begins to affect his ability to bring down the unemployment rate, that's when I'll be concerned. The day that his age begins to affect whether or not infrastructure is being built in Ohio, that is the day I will worry. The day that Joe Biden's age begins to be a problem where he can no longer have meetings with world leaders as he's doing, as he has done at the UN and everywhere. That's when I will be that's when I'll be worried. That's not what we have right now. What we have right now is just he looks funny, he walks funny, sometimes he talks a certain way, even though we always knew he had a stutter. But we're gonna pretend that we don't know that. We're gonna pretend this is new. Go ahead and do your thing. But the day that any of these things affect his ability to perform, which is where I wish Democrats would just go crazy and go ham. You need to go crazy online everywhere and begin to push his accomplishments in people's faces. You need to yell it. You need to shout it. Take pictures of the infrastructure. Do you know that there are Republicans going around who hate Joe Biden, who voted against his bills, voted against the CHIPS Act, voted against the Infrastructure Act, everything Joe Biden wanted to do, they said no, no, no. But those things passed anyway without their help, and they have the nerve now to go back to their people and start cutting ribbons at factories that were made possible by the bill that Joe Biden pushed for and signed. That's what's going on. They're celebrating, bringing money to their constituents, the money they voted against. And one such person was humiliated by a reporter who did an interview with her and reminded her. So she has on her website how she brought money to her area, and the guy said, "But you voted against that bill. How do you now take credit for it?" And she wanted to pretend as if she didn't remember. There are so many. No, no, no. He said, no, no. You voted against this particular bill, the CHIPS Act and Infrastructure Act. You voted against those bills. And it is those bills that are now bringing money to your constituency. But you want to go and cut ribbon with scissors and make it look like you brought that job there. That's why I'm saying information is key. The people who will see her cutting ribbon and thinking, oh, she brought jobs, are people who have not bothered to figure out where the jobs came from. That's if you look at the polls today and they say Joe Biden is losing and all that, it is mainly because the information landscape is not working. The information landscape is not working. People are getting no information or bad information or the wrong information. And that's now the basis of the conversation everybody's having. If you now ask them, oh, who's to blame for the border? Oh, they say Joe Biden. Even though if you dig a little deeper, you'll find out that Joe Biden has proposed the bill and the bill passed the Senate. But Donald Trump told the Republicans in Congress not to vote for it. He told them to kill the bill because, and the worst part is that Donald Trump even doesn't sometimes hide his selfish, craven reason for doing things. He went on an interview on a town hall and said, "Yeah, I told them to kill it because why should we do anything that will help the other side?" That's his mentality. So, in other words, the bill is good. It will help us with the problem at the border. It will help us with the crisis at the border. But because it will give credit to Joe Biden, Donald Trump has told all his goats, all his raccoons in Congress to fight against, including the Speaker of the House, to fight against it. This man is craven, and he tells us every time what he's about. He tells us what he's about every time. But yet people want to come in and they want to like pretend like they don't know which one to choose. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And what I want to encourage everyone in this cycle, in this political climate, is this: get information, get the right information, get good information, because that's going to be the basis of how we make decisions. You should not make any decision without that. That's the challenge we have with this generation right now. People are going out, oh, Donald Trump gave us his stimulus. Donald Trump gave us his stimulus. Not understanding that I didn't give you two stimulus checks. you more than Donald Trump ever did. But you don't know that. You don't know that. Inflation has slowed down when Biden took office. But you don't know that. Employment is in a good place. The stock market had the highs, record highs, like 2 or 3 times already. And even anybody that is in the stocks that they're feeling their money under Biden. Some of them still want to make it look like Biden is bad for business. Information. Information. So that's my argument. I know that maybe people will, challenging me like, oh, how are you going to defend Biden? I don't have to defend Biden. I have to defend his economy. That's really the thing. Coming out of COVID, no one expects to be where we are. Coming out of COVID, many nations are still struggling with the economic problems that came from COVID. America is doing well. Why? When you have a leader who listens to experts, we have a leader who works. We have a leader who allowed the Fed to do what they need to do in the pandemic. When the Fed was raising interest rates, it was very tough. It made it difficult for those who want to buy houses. Very, very tough. But they figured out that if we do that, we'll cool the economy and get a handle on inflation. And it worked. It worked. And they brought it back just before the thing problem. They were able to bring it back. Bola is in the building. What's up, sis? Long time, long time. Happy New Year and every. Sis, you're exactly right. I mean, 4 years of orange Lysol is what we're looking at. And that's only going to be possible because nobody reads anymore. Nobody does math anymore. Nobody pays attention to good information. Nobody pays attention to good information. That's why if Donald Trump wins, if he wins, it's just going to be because people don't listen. They don't read. They don't understand. And you know what? America will deserve whatever happens on that thing. I am at a point where I'm like, you know what? Go ahead. You know, I mean, I'm going to do my part to make sure we keep educating ourselves. But you know what? Maybe America needs another 4 years of Trump. Just like the first four that made you run to the ballot and vote for Biden, even though he was old. Maybe you need to suffer again another four for your head to be clear. Maybe that's what you need to go ahead. Because I don't understand how somebody that went through the first 4 years of Trump is going to sit there and say you want more of that. I mean, like, it's mind blowing. Have you forgotten already? You've forgotten already how horrible it was? No, it's I don't know where this is coming from. This desire to just believe lies. Because you're out here, and since you're right, it's so scary. I'm putting more Sister Bola stuff on there. Me and Sister Bola right now. It's scary. How do you forget the way this man handled COVID that led to upwards of millions of Americans dying? How do you forget the way he bungled it? He completely mishandled it. If Hillary Clinton was president during COVID, it would be a different story because she would work with experts, listen, get the best information she could get. Experts are not perfect. Don't come at me with the experts were wrong. Oh, were you right? Experts were wrong. With your basement. People are trying their best to get a handle on something, and eventually they did. Like, when Donald Trump initiated Operation Warp Speed to get the vaccine done, I gave him credit and I said, finally, he's doing something that makes sense. But this was after he had done so much to undermine the credibility of scientists. So that by the time the vaccine came out, his own people were already saying no to the vaccine. It's so annoying. The one thing he did well, he had already undermined the success of that vaccine because he had joined the crazies to cast doubt on doctors and scientists. Nobody believed doctors anymore under him. Nobody believed scientists. Everybody was a scientist unto themselves. People were saying, I've done the research on my own. For the first time in this country, do you know that measles has come back in Florida? Hey, God. Measles has come back in Florida. Tom, measles is back in Florida, bro. Something that's been eradicated for years. Unfortunately, I'm ashamed to say the Surgeon General of Florida is a Nigerian guy. He's a COVID denying, vaccine denying guy. But knowing his eyes are open now. The children in Florida are beginning to catch measles, and he doesn't know how to handle it. Okay, Sister Bola said he's back in Maryland too. I want weary back. I want weary. I kept telling you guys all through last year. This war on vaccination, this war on science, it will end up. It will be the thing that it will end us. It will destroy the world, and we will deserve it. They've spread it across the country by refusing to take vaccinations for things that they always took vaccinations for. This is madness. Honestly, this is craziness. You're gonna sit there all of a sudden and not take vaccination for measles? I won't be surprised if polio comes back too. Measles is back. It's calling polio. Measles is calling polio on the phone like, yo, polio. Yo, boy, yo, son, we're back. Yeah. Nah, Cass is not taking vaccinations no more. Yeah, they don't believe in vaccinations no more, man. Yo, listen. Call your boy tuberculosis. Who else we got on there? Yeah. Call the other cats, man. We're back. That's what measles is doing right now. It's calling his boys. Polio and tuberculosis. Because y'all behinds don't believe in science no more. You have a Surgeon General in the middle of a measles outbreak in Florida talking about, oh, you don't have to vaccinate your child. If your child has measles, you can keep them home for a while. Are you mad? You guys are listening to them. This is what is going to destroy the world. It's going to destroy this country if care is not taken. We don't switch it up. We don't switch it up. Because guess what? This is that same disinformation and misinformation that they used during COVID. That is now they are using it on economic issues, on the immigration, on the border issues. It's the same misinformation they are using. Did you hear about the Hunter Biden investigation and the impeachment of Joe Biden and how it is imploding? Because the informant that wrote the stupid memo that said that Joe Biden collected 5 million has been arrested. Right? The same the Attorney General that the AG that arrested him is a Trump appointed AG. This guy was working with Trump, but he himself found out that their informant is a double agent working for Russia. It is based on that informant's information that they built their entire impeachment of Joe Biden and their entire accusation on Hunter Biden. There are so many eggs on all their faces. But unfortunately, they don't know how to stop it. They're still doing the investigation. Everybody's pointing at them and laughing. Misinformation, disinformation. It is the bedrock of everything that is destroying this country right now. And it is the thing that is fueling the rise of Donald Trump as a potential president for a second term. The day people know the truth about any of these things, there's no way he's winning. There's no way he's winning. Sabola, let me get this your comment. And hitherto responsible pastors are saying Orange Man is being used by God. Do you know that that's the same thing that they were saying the last time he was president? You know, I look, one of the most enjoyable times I've had during my podcast is watching all these pastors and Nigerian pastors telling their congregation in November and December of 2020 that they should not worry, that Trump will still be president, that something will happen, that they should just wait, that God will bring something on January 6th. God will do something on January 20th. Just before Biden is sworn in, something, a miracle will happen. Thunder will strike. And their followers like, oh, amen. Hallelujah. Somebody was arguing with me saying the Supreme Court is going to overturn Biden's victory. And I asked him a simple question. Which case has been filed before the Supreme Court with which they would now use, with which they would act to overturn the election? Because something as basic as understanding that Supreme Court doesn't just rule unless there's a case in front of you. You have no clue. Ignorant as all get out. No idea, but you want to make predictions. Stabila, you remember? Angels from Africa. Angels from Africa. And I said, woman, leave African angels alone. They are busy. Ah, ah. I think that was Pastor Paula White now. Are the African angels not busy enough? They were calling African angels to come and help Trump win. Please leave our angels. In fact, we need more. Are you mad? It's the same people. It's the same people. They are now they'll tell you that God is using him. God is using it. Do you know that God can use somebody without making them president? Yes. God has used Trump to wake people up to realize that this American democracy that they have, it can be done like that. You need if you get two terms of someone like Donald Trump, yes, sir, you will not recognize what democracy is anymore. Donald Trump, towards the end of his presidency, began to realize that I should have put my loyalists in every position. Why? Because all the other people that were patriots that fought him on some of his worst instincts, they didn't let him do the thing they wanted to do. So he was realizing at the end, why did I hire this person? Why did I hire this person? I should have hired this person. He was trying to do it, oh, but he couldn't. Now, in his second term, he will perfect it. He will perfect it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the challenge for us in this generation right now is to educate ourselves and our fellow Americans who will be voting, to let them realize that they should not allow themselves to be deceived. How are you listening or watching a news station that was ordered to pay $1 billion for lying and deceiving its viewers? Do you understand what you are doing? They had to pay, I think it was $780 million. You know how much lying you have to do to end up paying that much money? But you guys are going back to them for your news. So it's no surprise that you are the most ill-informed people in the world, underinformed, misinformed. You don't know anything. So when the pollster comes to you and say, "Who do you want for president?" Of course, you're going to pick the one that they've lied to you about. So when I say, "Hey, Indians from Africa refuse to comply," because your will is not God's will, sir. Because your will is not God's will. Because you want someone to win the election, you want to project that onto God and say that's what God wants as well. When God now refuses to follow your own plan, I don't know how people still pastor churches after lying to their members like that, and the lie came out, and they just quietly forgot about the issue. That's what I don't understand. After you have done church sermon, 3 sermons, telling your people that they should wait and see what the Lord will do, and Joe Biden is not going to be. Joe Biden will not taste that White House. Joe Biden will not enter that White House. Trump is going to be the one. Come and see what. And then all of your predictions fell flat. You were proven to be lying. Somehow, you still have your church, you still have your members. So people's willingness to be deceived might be the most dangerous thing we have on ground. People are ready to be lied to. They are ready to be deceived. Otherwise, you're sitting here comparing Biden and Trump. I've said it before. If an ordinary Toyota Camry runs against Donald Trump, we should vote for a Toyota Camry. Yes, because Toyota Camry, it may do us no harm. But Donald Trump is guaranteed to sell this country out. He will sell this nation out. He was on his way to do it. The 2 billion from Saudi Arabia that went to Jared Kushner was a down payment. Donald Trump will sell this place out. I'm not just saying that, to disparage him. It's his nature. It's his nature. Fraud is his nature. Everything he's ever touched, he has added fraud to it. Just to let you know that I'm not just saying it, to disparage him. There are things that Donald Trump had access to. There are things that Donald Trump has done that if he didn't add fraud, it would be great. That's what I'm trying to get you to see, that he doesn't know how not to defraud. He doesn't know how not to defraud. That's why when he talks about soldiers who die for this country, he doesn't understand why they sacrificed themselves, and he continues to ask the question, what was in it for them? But Donald Trump doesn't understand the nature of sacrifice. Doesn't understand sacrifice. Everything is a transaction where he makes money. He's currently taking all your donations and paying his legal fees. But you guys are okay with that, so I'm okay with it. If you guys are cool with that, I'm cool with it. Remember when his campaign kept taking money from donors' accounts, even when those donors only intended for one-time payment, but his campaign kept making it a recurring deposit, and then they were caught and they say it was an error. You guys are still with him, you're still giving him your money. And I'm not even I can't bother with those who are sold out for Donald Trump. That's your life now. I'm talking about all the people in the middle, all the independents, everyone who has a different perspective. You are the one I'm pleading with. Please do not let this man come in again. It's enough. We've had enough. Look, Joe Biden is boring. He's old. Can barely can barely chew corn. Joe Biden is so old. His knees, his knees do not understand that they have to carry his body. Joe Biden is so old. When he walks, he doesn't walk, he shuffles. In fact, Joe Biden's age is telling, even on his eyes. If Joe Biden is talking, you see that his eyes are thinner. Or he's more competent than Donald Trump. That's just the truth. He cares more about this country than Donald Trump does. Trump's selfishness is on full display for everybody to see. And you don't have to take anybody's word for it. Ask yourself this. Why is it that everybody that worked for Trump, general, excuse me, generals, staffers, people who worked as press secretary, they are all worried now that if he wins, he will come after them. Why? Because they have all come out and told the truth about him. He was horrible in the White House. It is only by the grace of God and by the efforts of great men and women who restricted and restrained him that he didn't completely set the country on fire. He was a horrible president. And the people who know best are the people who work for him. This is what frustrates me. You sit in your house and you make statements like Donald Trump is great and stuff like that. Talk to the people who actually work for him. That is those that are not going to jail. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Come on. Think about it. Logically, in your own life. If you heard about a scenario where there's a boss that everybody who works for him goes to jail, bruv, you tell him you're still going to look at that boss and say, oh, yeah, he's a good guy. Come on now. Everybody around Trump has gone to jail for different things. For different things. Some of them were being prosecuted while Trump was president. In other words, the Attorney General or the AGs of the DO, Department of Justice, started some of these prosecutions before Trump left office. So it wasn't a democratic prosecution. That's why it's so annoying when people come and say, oh, why do they have all these cases against him? Because he did all these crimes. Are you mad? You dumb, bro. The guy commits 10 crimes, he gets prosecuted 10 times, and you're going to stand and just forget the fact that he did those things and say, oh, why are they prosecuting him so much? What, that is so wrong-headed. That's not how it works. Because for you and I, if you commit 10 crimes and you get prosecuted 10 times, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's why we try not to commit crimes. We don't want to be prosecuted. This dude was out there just willing. I mean, please, any Trump supporter, anybody who thinks that, he's being persecuted, explain to me. Explain, please. Explain to me if you can why Donald Trump would take documents, be told that those documents belong to the country, they belong to the archive, would deceive and say they are mine, and then later say, okay, I'll give them to you, and then later give only a few and keep the rest. And then when he's asked for the rest, he tells his people to flood the swimming pool set fire to the bathroom to hide the documents. And then when he's confronted with a search warrant and they bring the documents out, he says it's being raided. He says they planted it. And then when after that doesn't work, he said that he has a right to keep them. Then he says, "Oh, I declassified them with my mind." Come on. No, no, we are not that dumb. You are not that stupid. So there's something else going on. You're not that stupid. He's now being prosecuted for that, and you're gonna have the nerve to stand there and say he's being, oh, they're just trying to attack him. Like, you, what don't you understand about when you take documents from the government that you shouldn't take, and you don't return them, and they have to come and seize them from you? You're gonna be up on charges. Y'all gonna act like you're shocked that that they're going after him. He assaulted a woman. He denied assaulting her, and he didn't stop there. He started calling her names, calling her a liar, saying she was ugly and all that stuff. And he just felt like, yeah, he could get away with it. And then they call him to book, take him to court, find him liable for the assault, they find him liable for the defamation, award $5 million. He defames the lady again. He goes back to court, gets him liable, gets a jury to see that he's liable. Then they award the $83 million. And now you guys want to cry foul. Where were you? Where have you been throughout the journey of this lady that was assaulted and defamed? Now that her day in court, now she's getting a 3 million. You have now woken up. You're awake now. Oh, it's unfair. Get out of here with that nonsense. Get out of here. You go ahead, you assault somebody, then defame them. And watch if the same thing won't happen to you or worse. This is stupid. It's stupid. This whole line of conversation where we are making it seem as though the prosecution of Donald Trump is a persecution is stupid. He was supposed to have been prosecuted. In fact, what I blame the DOJ for is how much time it took them. He was supposed to have been prosecuted the moment he stepped out of the White House. Because a lot of those prosecutions were waiting for him right at the back. You're going to sit here and pretend like, oh, you're shocked that he's being prosecuted. This is a guy who has been making it seem like he told you when they said he doesn't pay taxes, he said that's because I'm smart. And you sat there and you clapped for him. They now came back at him for fraud. You are now shocked. Are you mad? Clap for him again. That's what you should do. Stupidity. Didn't you clap for him when he said he was smart? Is he the first criminal you will know that will call his crime an act of being smart? Clap for him when he says I'm smart. Every criminal that gets away with it for a while understands that it's because they are smart. A bank robber who plans a beautiful bank robbery gets the money and escapes in a helicopter and finds himself on a wonderful island, drinking Mai Tais. That's a smart criminal. He got away with it until the detective that is chasing him catches him and then they bring him back for trial. That's exactly who Donald Trump is. He got away with a lot of crimes for a long time, but then chickens came home to roost, and now all the crimes are being dealt with at once, and you have the nerve to say he's being persecuted. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I was explaining to somebody who said, "Well, why are they doing it now that he's running?" No, why was he running knowing that they'll be doing it? That's the chicken and the egg conversation on this matter is so funny. Donald Trump incited a riot on January the 6th. From that moment on, a lot of the people he incited had been arrested and were being prosecuted. It was clear that eventually they were going to come after the guy who incited them. That was from January, we knew that. So he declared that he was going to run in March of 2023, the earliest declaration that anybody has ever made for running, because he knew that they were coming for him. They had already they did the search warrant on his house. They saw he had documents. He knew they were coming for him, so he declared his run. And then he turned around and he said, "They're coming after me because I'm running." And you're dumb enough to believe that. Seriously, you're dumb enough to let him get away with that lie. He ran because they were coming after him. They didn't come after him because he ran. Get it straight. He used the running for president as his shield, and it's working for now. because he's got all you guys saying it's unfair. That was his whole plan. That was his entire plan. Is to pry to you and say, look, because I'm running against Joe Biden, they're coming at me with all these trials. And it's like each of those investigations were already ongoing before he even left the White House. They only matured into full-on cases later. They all predated his decision to run. Nobody came after him because he was running. He started running because he knew they were going to come after him. And that's the timeline. Some of us already called it. We were having this debate. In fact, we were having this debate before the election last year, before he lost. I was saying that I don't even think I'm ready for them to put him in prison because I don't think America could survive putting an ex-president in jail. Why are we talking about him in jail? It was because we knew that he had committed a few crimes that required them to prosecute him when he left the office. So if we're having that conversation before he even left the White House, how are you going to come out and say, oh, they could prosecute him because he's running for office? No. The prosecution started the moment he committed the crime, but they couldn't really go after him while he was in office. That's how it's always. That's why Mueller couldn't go after him. Mueller cited 10 cases of obstruction of justice in the Russia investigation, which they're calling it a hoax, a hoax. There were a lot of crimes that he could have been prosecuted, but the DOJ had a principle that said you cannot indict the sitting president. That's what destroyed Mueller. And then Bill Barr came along and put the nail in the coffin. So this narrative that Russia was a hoax is based on the fact that the DOJ had a policy that said you can't go after him. Not because there wasn't crimes to go after. That's the thing that is so frustrating. But you don't know that, or you don't care. And Bill Barr came and said, nothing to see here, he's exonerated. And then Mueller came out and said, that's not what I said, but it was too late. But now that somebody's actually going after him, you have the nerve to say, they're going after, get out of here. Get out of here. It's so moronic. It's really hurtful that people are so gullible to allow themselves to be deceived by rubbish like this. It's clearly a strategy. It's a getaway car. Him running for office is a getaway car from all the crimes he committed. And that's what he's doing now. He's showing you that character right now. Fighting for delays in the court, making frivolous arguments so that he can push the dates. Escaping accountability is his middle name. And once in a while, when accountability catches up with him, he cries, and you guys, oh, you cry with him. You dumb bro. This is the thing. This fraudster, this sexual abuser, the judge even clarified and said it wasn't sex abuse, it was rape. This rapist of a person is the one that you're now comparing to Joe Biden and say Joe Biden is old. Joe Biden is very old. I'll say it again, Joe Biden is not even walking, Joe Biden is walking with a cane. Let's go there. Joe Biden's eyes are closing. Let's go there. But the economy is good. Unemployment is lower than it has been in years. The stock market had 3 or 4 record highs in the last couple of months that we all saw. Infrastructure is changing. They are building roads and bridges. That's why the unions endorsed him, because he's pro-union. That's Joe Biden. Talk less of all the loans he's forgiven for student loans. He's doing stuff, yo. He's doing stuff. He's in a wheelchair. He's that old, but he's doing stuff. I thought that was what this was all about, whether or not he's performing. Old, but stuff is getting done. And the crazy thing is, you're not even denying that. Fox News had to admit that the economy is good. Larry Kudlow had to admit that he predicted a recession, but we don't have one. Everybody's admitting that his economy is good. It's Joe Biden's economy. Because he inherited an inflation, he inherited an upcoming recession, he inherited unemployment rate, he inherited all of that was horrible. Under his leadership, everything has changed. Ordinarily, I would say to you, the president can benefit from the work of the previous president if the previous president put some things in motion that don't show until he's out of office. Then the new president can come in and say, I did that. That's partly what Trump enjoyed. Obama left Trump a good economy. All he had to do was maintain it, not mess it up. And now people giving him credit. under Trump. Are you mad? Joe Biden is the one that inherited a real dog of an economy. We all knew it. Coming out of COVID, there was nothing. And so you need to give that credit to the one who organized this thing and brought us out of that COVID economic downfall. If God is using anybody, God used Joe Biden to bring America out of COVID. That's what's happening. So when you say he's old, I get it. He's old. He's older than 30. He's 174 years old. But this old man in his wheelchair is fixing the economy. My goodness. Can we do the math? As long as he can still do this thing he's doing where he's forgiving student loans, he should be there. Old or not. If he's crawling into and out of the White House, but infrastructure, bridges are being built, bro. Let him crawl through the White House for another 4 years. Let's build more bridges. This is madness. You talk about how old he is, but not figure out stuff is working. The things that are not all right now are getting better because he's working. His team is working. But you want to go with Mr. Bankruptcy. That's your alternative. Stupid. It's dumb, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy. I came back for this politics blog real quick. And, many of y'all know I'm doing my faith talk. So I'm putting a lot more energy to that, obviously. Because that's, just ministering as God will give grace. And I think everybody was logging on to that. So my people have been telling me I got to come back in on some of this politics. Is getting hot. Today's, Super Tuesday. They're picking Joe Biden and Donald Trump, to go against each other. I mean, and I didn't even get to the conversation about how Donald Trump is not 25 years old. Y'all talk about Joe Biden like he's 100 years older than Trump. So dumb. So dumb. They're both old. They're both going through some stuff. Trump seems to be melting down quicker than Biden in the last few months. Before now, Biden was the only one falling down and having moments where he seemed like he didn't know where he was going. Legit. You can criticize Biden for that. That looks stupid. That looks dumb. That looks weak. But unemployment is GDP is up. Stock market is going gangbusters. I'm going to keep telling you this. Infrastructure is being rebuilt. Jobs are coming back. CHIPS Act is opening up incredible opportunities in science and technology. Student loans are being forgiven like water. People are celebrating they're looking at their student loan balance and say it's seeing zero. I'm not one of those people, but I'm happy for them. I'm not mad. Forgive some people's loans. Let's relieve the pressure. He put down a border bill that even Republicans said they wrote it and they said it could really help. The only contribution Donald Trump has done to the border issue is to come and tell them not to pass the one bill that will help. So all I'm saying is that yes, let's agree. Biden is old. Stuff is getting done. Argue with me on that. If you can tell me that you don't see the unemployment rate, you don't see the gas prices, because you and I were here when gas prices were averaging $4, $5, and people were taking pictures on TikTok and videos talking about, ooh, look at Joe Biden's gas prices going up. Joe Biden is too old, too weak. Look at these gas prices. Now the gas prices are $2.50, $2 this. Nobody's talking about gas prices anymore. Now, oh, Joe Biden's old. That's dumb. I'm not going to allow that. That's stupid. I'm not sitting down for that nonsense. Show me in the economy where Joe Biden's age is affecting his performance. Then we'll talk. But right now, he's doing well. He's so old, I don't even think he can get out of bed without help. Yes, but the economy is doing well. That's what I measure. That's what I'm measuring. I'm going to sit there and talk about somebody who's going bankrupt, who's a sexual abuser, a rapist, a liar, all that stuff. Standing there, he can't even remember his wife's name, and you're going to sit there and tell me Joe Biden's old when this guy's over there. Did you see the last one? I'm going to finish on this. Did you see the last one where he slurred and when he was doing this? He wanted to do like a Spartacus, like I am Sparta. He wanted to do like a big man speech, like dramatic. They were playing music, and he stood there and said, "And now we're a nation who's just heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia are gonna." Oh, he just melted down. The dumbest thing I've ever seen. You're going to tell me Biden is old. What is that one? He's losing it. And I think he's going to lose it more the more the pressure comes on when he's on the campaign trail. And I'm going to see the excuses he's going to give him then. In the meantime, I'm admitting, and I agree with you, cannot be hidden. Joe Biden is old, he's slower, he's lost a step, he has senior moments. Yeah, you're right. First thing, his senior moments have not led him to do anything that would undermine national security, as far as we can tell. His senior moments have not kept him from doing great work on the economy and signing amazing bills. The CHIPS Act, infrastructure bill, stimulus packages, he's been signing them all. His age has not stopped him from helping a lot of people with their student loans. He's done it, he's done it, and he's done it. His age did not keep him from bringing the entire Western world together to face Putin and support Ukraine. And the only problem we now have is that stupid Republicans, Trump Republicans in Congress, trying to undermine all that work. I disagree with how far he and his team have gone in supporting Israel with what's going on in Gaza. At the beginning, you could excuse and you could say, "Oh, they're retaliating for what happened. They're hunting down Hamas. They're going after. They're trying to get their hostages." But by the time you start hitting death toll of even 5,000 Palestinians and citizens of Gaza, talk less of 30,000 where we are now, thereabouts. I mean, there's no. It was the dumbest thing to keep supporting. They should have been pulling back right at that point. They should have been showing the world that, hey, we're trying to talk to them not to do this the way they're doing it. They should have shown the world that they're not happy with it. So I fault Biden and his people on that. And that's why he's suffering with his base, young people, Muslims. He's suffering with a whole bunch of people, and that's well deserved. That backlash is well deserved because you can't be so dumb not to see that you support an ally, and that ally is basically massacring thousands of people in the name of retaliation or whatever. Then if you don't know that, ooh, I need to stop supporting them wholeheartedly. I need to stop. What they're doing now, essentially, is what they should have done at 5,000 deaths before the noise, before the whole world began to say, whoa, this is too much. So I fault him on that. That's why I'm telling you. I'll tell you when I think Biden is off track. Yeah, but he's doing all the other things. He's doing it well. And even on the now he's woken up on the Gaza thing. It's late. It's late. So he deserves to suffer for that. He's going to lose some points on that. And that might be the most dangerous part of his reelection bid. Not even Trump. It's just losing his base. So he's got to work on that. I don't know what's going to happen in the next few months. I hope he can get it together and meet them at some point and give them a little piece of understanding that all right, he's listening, but that he needs to pay for that. But on everything else, miss me with all your arguments, man. I don't care how old he is, he's getting stuff done. That's what we need. I don't care if he's old, get stuff done. Do stuff. Economy stuff. And for that, I'm appealing to everybody. If you like economy, if you like the economy, if you like low unemployment, if you like infrastructure, jobs coming back, if you like that stuff, if you like most student loans being forgiven, if you like student loans being erased, and he wants to do more of that stuff, that's what his second term is going to be about. Just more of the good things that we're seeing. Low unemployment, high GDP, stock market to the moon. We're talking about infrastructure, building the roads and the bridges. Cats is getting shovels right now. Even the Republicans are going to cut ribbons at infrastructure projects that they voted against. CHIPS Act is going gangbusters in Silicon Valley. Like, he's doing work, bro. And I'm telling you, he can't eat solid food anymore. He only drinks milk, but he's doing work. And that's where me and him, that's our connection. Is he working for me? I don't care about this. The age only matters if it's affecting the work, bro. That's it. That's the first layer of this conversation. Is the age affecting the effectiveness? And if you turn around and you see that he's doing all the things he's done, all the bills he's passed, all the places he's going to, and he's visiting, he might be walking slow when he gets there, but he's going. How can you sit there and talk about his age like he ain't doing nothing? So for that reason, you're gonna let what's his name sex abuser guy, uh, Mr. Rapist over here, you're gonna let him win because you don't like the way other guy walks. It's dumb, bro. It makes no sense. I'm not even dealing with anybody who's like sold out for Trump. Those guys are gone. I'm talking about cats who are still thinking about it. And to my young people, please stop this nonsense about, oh, Trump give us a stimulus check. Biden gave you two, and child, and he gave your folks child tax credit if you're that age. So it's like, please go find out what Biden is doing before you start clapping for Trump for putting a stupid signature on a check that was generated by Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats in Congress. But that's too much information, I guess. You just look at the check, you see his signature, and you say, "Oh, Trump gave us a stimmy." This is annoying. We cannot be this stupid. We cannot be this dumb. Just dig a little deeper into everything you're believing and find out what the truth is. And trust me, when you find out real information, you're gonna change your entire system, your entire perspective on it. These polls are based on people just not wanting to hear real facts. So, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden is old. The economy is getting better. So I'll take an old man under whom the economy is doing better. Over, I don't even know what Trump is. I don't even know what he is. Can anyone here tell me what Trump plans to do about inflation? No, you can't because he doesn't. He hasn't said anything about inflation. The only thing he said related to policy is drill, baby, drill. And the stupidity of him and anybody who believes it is that we are currently producing more oil in this country than we've ever done. Joe Biden has been drilling like crazy to the point where a lot of Democrats on the left, they don't like him for it. But what Trump is saying he's going to do is what Joe Biden is already doing. We don't need Trump to drill. America is producing more oil than all the oil producing nations. So you see, there's no reason for Trump to win. There's no point. There's nothing he's coming to do. What policy is he coming? Keep going. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna cut it right there. It's your boy JFK, man. I'm gonna make it a little more elaborate next time, but I just have to break the mold and come in and have this conversation. Let me know what you think about politics. I know if a lot of y'all got on tonight, you would have fought me on all this stuff, but there's nothing I'm not saying that there's nothing I'm saying that you don't already know. Joe Biden is old, but the economy is good. That's my point, right? I'm gonna see y'all later. I know I have my sister on here. I can't see any of the comments. I know. Oh, I see Francis on there somehow, but then on YouTube as well. All right. That's good. That's good. Don't worry. Next time we're gonna get you. But tomorrow I'm going back into my faith talk. That's for my people, my church people. That's what we're doing with ourselves. We're gonna get into that. All right. It's your boy JFK. Let's talk about